they might want to hear, how does a person become, as I know you are, a very committed, someone that's very committed to their health, who's made a lot of sacrifices, a lot of changes, a lot of transitions. You eat 100% raw diet for the last 15 years, I believe. So where did that all start? How did that process begin?
Well, it all started because I lost what I had. Like I was always a carefree, very joyous, like excited, passion-driven person. Like I can honestly say when I was younger, beyond obviously the little teeny things that can happen to anyone where you get upset about things not working your way, I was always very optimistic and happy and just loved life,
Yeah.
and all I did was skateboard and play, and my entire mission was just to skateboard and eventually become a professional. That's what I thought would be my calling, and everything I did geared towards that. Every kind of job I got, wherever I moved, my friendships really were based around skateboarding. And by the time I was 18, though, that skateboarding kind of, it was still the major part, but I was getting into drugs and into alcohol, into partying, and I was having a fun time at first, but it quickly went the other way, where I was doing that because I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling happy. I wasn't feeling connected. I wasn't recovering well. I wasn't skateboarding at my highest, and I got depressed, and I was losing it. I didn't want to live anymore. I remember going on flights and literally praying for it to crash. Like, I'm not kidding. I'd be on the plane going crash, crash, crash.
Oh
like,
my God.
and like I wanted to. And I mean, that just reflects like I didn't care about anything or anyone. Like I wanted the fucking plane to crash, right? And I knew I needed something. So it was such a sharp contrast, and it was a slow transition to that. But when it got to a point, it really nosedived. And so I found yoga. That led me into the concepts of yogic kind of methodology around diet and nutrition and karma, which kind of got me interested in nutrition, which before I thought was a joke. My sister was a vegetarian for years, and I just laughed at her and like pretended as a T-Rex, and I thought it was silly. But I needed a shift, and I found a book called Fit for Life, which really opened my eyes to fruit and vegetable-based eating. It even mentions raw food and food combining. And, to make a long story short, I'm an A-type personality. When I find something that I feel works or that I'm interested in, if it hits me on a core level, there's certain truths that every single cell in your being just goes, yes, like you just resonate with, this is it, and that book hit me so hard. That's over 20 years ago now, that I started eating fruit for breakfast 20 years ago. I started food combining 20 years ago. I started, moving towards vegetarian and veganism 20 years ago. And I can say I've had like 5 or 6 cooked breakfasts since I read that book. No joke, I just took it on. Food combining became like, that's just what I did, and I've had 2 sick days in 20 years. I don't know almost anyone who's had that little sick days. And I've always had a robust system. I've always, been pretty focused and really have a strong mindset. But that book changed my life. And I just, from then on, once I got it, it's like, you can't unlearn it. Once I really understood how much of an impact diet and lifestyle and perspective have, it became the biggest passion. And eventually it superseded skateboarding. But that took about 5 years at first, and then a little bit longer for me to really dive